Hello guys, welcome back to Wicked-Whiskers. Today I'm going to have a very mild shave using Merkur Progress because there is a new progress being launched, but we will cover that a little bit later on. For the soap, my recommendation for the hot weather, Pro Green, and why not using the Badger brush while you're having it. I already soaked both my whiskers and the brush, so I will take a little bit more water because I squeezed a majority of it. So, since this is very big and dense knot, I guess that I should also load Proraso a little bit heavier than usual. And let's see how it's going to work. Right from the start I would say that there is plenty of soap in the brush. And I'm having, as usual, 2 days of beard growth. I planned to have that open comb experiment, but it turns out that I got small herpes at the corner of my lower lip, so I decided to just go with something nice and mild, which won't cause any issues. And I was checking my mild razors. Of course, something which I always recommend if you're pursuing only the comfort and you want to be nick free to reduce any risk of cutting, then Merkur razors, I would say in general, are the top choice, although not the ideal for me, because sometimes I like that little bit closer approach. But since I'm having a little bit of skin conditions, I would say that a little bit of Merkur mildness could work better for me, at least this time. And I would say that this is just enough and much more than I need leftovers for the second pass. So this is, let's say, the traditional Merkur Progress, code name 500. It comes with this bakelite yellow knob, which in my opinion had a nice vintage vibe, and personally I liked it. But in last week I saw that a lot of vendors are now having the brass knob Merkur Progress. So I will load Astra blade and check out the knobs, these lining markers. Squeeze it just gently until it's completely tightened down, and let's crank it up to maybe number 4. So, speaking about the razor, I especially dislike that very thin thread inside, which is not so reassuring, especially in a razor which is a little bit north from 50 euros. And I think that the new one with the brass knob is even closer to 65. So for that kind of money you would expect to have a really sturdy and thick razor. So I was a little bit disappointed with this, I think it is maybe M4, even thinner thread. But so far, and it's been like 2 years since I have it, it is working just nice, no issues. The chroming is also very good, very thick. And within these 2 years, I think that I was adjusting Merkur Progress maybe like 5 times. Because once I figured out that setting 4 is working nice for me, I set it like that and never looked back. And to be honest, I don't know if there is some Merkur razor which has blade gap corresponding to setting 4 on Merkur Progress. The closed bar Merkurs are pretty much the same. You are just getting a little bit different handles. Now let's be especially careful. As you can see by these leftovers of the leather was pretty dense and thick. I think I loaded way too much. But let's now dilute it a little bit. And with Progress, I'm always having 2-pass shave, because it has a very nice and curved head, which contributes to comfort and skin feel, but it's also not getting that really skin close shaving. And let's squeeze the rest from the brush. As you can see, really too much of leather, way more than I would need for a second pass, but I just don't want to waste it, especially because this cleanup leather is a little bit more diluted and will be a little bit more slick. So is the Merkur Progress worth paying additional money for that brass knob? I'm not going to lie, it looks very nice, very modern. But even with this plastic one, I never had any issues. It fits very nice for this against the grain passes. The head is the same, the feel will be the same, so when I was asked by a friend of mine, are you going to get the new version? I said, well, maybe in like 10 years when this one really breaks down. Because when you look at it, it's really nice, chubby, very heavy razor. If you want to, you can dial it to be more gentle, more aggressive. And especially if you're trying new blades. but as you can hear, it is really having like small bites for the beard and shaving very gradually, absolutely effortless, very comfortable. So for this reason, if you haven't tried Merkur Progress, then maybe you could go with the new improved version. Because there is one issue with this plastic knob, and it is, I would say, not so firmly tight with this ring with numbers, so I had to put a little bit of Loctite inside just to prevent that sliding between two cylinders. But for everything else, I am really content with this razor, especially when I need to go to work, because whatever I do with it, however I shave, I rarely get any nicks or skin irritations, so maybe not the closest mild razor which I have. But it is certainly one of the most comfortable. And you can tell by these subsequent passes. Like there is always some stubble that Progress can grab. Meaning that it's not so close. But because of this, you can really dial it down and see, do you need one pass, two passes, three passes? Do you want to especially take care of some trouble areas? And for a Zamek casted razor head and a brass handle, it looks pretty nice, pretty sturdy. You definitely don't have a feel that you're having a cheap razor or that it's not going to last for a long time. Yeah. In here, where I have pretty flat growing whiskers, as you can see, it's like I have a little bit more leftovers. Yeah, it's a little bit better now, but for everything else, I would say this was one very nice, refreshing shave. No issue on this herpes, so if you're having maybe some skin conditions, definitely worth considering this razor. And look who is back. I spent my Elliot and decided to go back to Brion, because I found also one very specific historical shaving piece of equipment from, I would say, Yugoslavia, which I will share with you in the next video, so stay tuned and make sure that you don't skip the next video. I will probably brand it with all sorts of Balkan and Yugoslavian items. So thank you for watching. I hope you liked this razor. If you're looking for Merkur Progress and you don't mind this plastic knob, you can get any version. It will work very nice, as you can see. So what else can I say? Enjoy your weekend, stay with Wicked-Whiskers, and see you next time. Bye.